appearances and things like that, and played in a golf tournament that was for a charity that's abused. But I'm not saying I'm some kind of
right.
It's not my mission. But
I'm just saying
I do have a microphone in front of me. I do have a website. I do have a forum.
Yes.
So I feel obligated to use that forum in the way that I think is most appropriate. And I think in this case, a franchise represents the city.
I agree.
And they need to represent it, at least in some way, shape, or form, proudly, or at least as a reflection of that community. Now,
but as you
said, yes, if as you said,
76,000 people are going to buy tickets?
The majority of the people who are out there just want to win, and they don't care, and they want Tyreek Hill to be out there, then they are representing the community. That's a shame, but don't you want to win with some dignity?
I want to go to the movies and laugh, right? I want to see a great comedy, and I really hope that David Spade and Chris Farley are not coked out of their mind in a mess, but they were, and I went anyway.
Right.
And I still watched the movies.
Right.
Right. I want to believe, not Spade, but Farley. I don't know what about Spade, but Farley clearly was a mess.
Right.
Right. And ultimately died because of it. No, I'm with you. I mean, we have both stated I would walk on this. I would not I wouldn't have ever been there. I can't state that enough. But the debate then comes down to we can keep saying that a million times that we would have cut him. We would. At the end of the day, they're not. And so
right. And in the context of all this, they signed Frank Clark. I mean, if clearly there's no shame yet. I don't know what it's going to take. What it might take is, or maybe it won't, is for Tyreek Hill to go out and commit another offense. Maybe that finally would, say, well, enough's enough.
I mean, is that's where I listen, I got to go, and maybe I'm trying to find a reason to make it okay to go out and cover the team and not, maybe I should be taking some grandiose stand and I will not talk about the Chiefs even if it costs me my job. Well, somebody else will do this job and they'll talk about the Chiefs.
Right.
So I'm going to talk about the Chiefs, right?
And in the end, you're right. It's the entertainment business. Probably I think one of the greatest working American actors right now is Casey Affleck, and he's got some real baggage.
Really?
My daughters won't go see his movies because of alleged sexual misconduct, charges in his past that have, gone away. I will. Nothing. He's never been convicted of anything. I'm going to see great acting. He's a great actor. So is that somewhat hypocritical? Yes, probably.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
there are other situations where maybe 100%. Maybe I will make a stand. But he was never convicted.
I think at the end of the day, we found it.
He was never convicted.
Cowardly hypocrite is what we've solved.
For the man who began the show discussing courage.
But who said right off the bat that there's a certain amount of cowardice in
hoisted by your own petard.
Which is a great old-timey phrase. Yes.
No, listen, my point is this. We're all eventually going to move on from this one way or another, whether he plays or doesn't play, because we moved on from the drafting of him.
It's just, yes, I know. And when I don't have much stomach for watching him score touchdowns. I'll say that. I don't. But, the one thing I don't like, I probably like the least, are people who say, well, I don't want to see him scoring touchdowns for somebody else. Is that, and as if that's the reason. Well, I don't want him on the team, but heck, if the league's going to have him, why don't we have him?
Yeah. And the case is always New England's going to get him, and he'll beat him in the AFC Championship game with a 50-yard touchdown.
Yes,
and that's the doomsday scenario.
Yes,
fans portray.
To which I say that winning the Super Bowl is not the end all be all. Grow up. I mean, have your team represent you well. I don't care. I don't care if Kareem Hunt runs wild on the Kansas City Chiefs. He's not wearing our uniform, and I'm happy for that. Now, I'm fine with him getting a second chance and moving on, but I don't care if Kareem Hunt goes for 325 yards and 5 touchdowns on the Chiefs. I don't care.
Right.
Because you know what? After the Chiefs lose, I go put my kids to bed. And then I go to bed, and then I get up and I go to work. That's what matters. Right? It does not effing matter if you win or lose a football game. And the problem is that there's so many people that their self-worth is based upon whether or not their team wins a game. You're not going to the after party. You're not getting a Super Bowl ring. And it really won't change your life. It'll be a wonderful memory, but it's not going to change your status in life. You're still a serf.
Right.
You're still a commoner. Okay, the nobility will continue to go on without you.
And where's the line here also? Do you want 53 guys who are Tyreek Hill on your team? Almost any fan will say no. But, well, Frank Clark, okay, it's a he said, she said, blah, blah, blah. I mean, how many is too many? How many incidents? They had a murder.
I will say this. There's clearly a line with the Chiefs because they cut Kareem Hunt. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, well, they wish they didn't. Well, when they come forward and say they wish they didn't, or I get somebody off the record to tell me that they wish they didn't, then I will report that. But I'm going to tell you that there is nobody that I have spoken to at Arrowhead that has said, we really wish we didn't cut Kareem Hunt. That is a narrative that is being played out there and words that are being put in their mouth.
But I also think that is a reflection of the current state of football, where you feel like you can find another fine running back real easy.
Absolutely.
And that Tyreek Hill is a special talent.
Absolutely. I think that does factor into it. Yes, but they wish they had Kareem Hunt back. I have no evidence that states that. None. Zero. So I'm tired of that narrative being thrown in, that's somehow what they're trying to do is redo their Kareem Hunt.
But I will say this, however, by their subsequent actions, I get the feeling that if the exact same thing had happened now, I don't think they would have cut Kareem Hunt.
I think
their subsequent actions have told me that maybe there is some buyer's remorse on that.
I think that's irrelevant.
I agree with that.
It's irrelevant because, number one, you don't know.
I don't.
So it's hypothetical speculation. Number two, it's not going to happen because he's not here.
Right.
Right? And so to me, it's irrelevant. And it's just being said to somehow put the Tyreek Hill thing in its place. It serves no purpose.
I think one of the things that probably did occur to the Chiefs is I don't think they felt like instantly Kareem Hunt was going to be on another football team. It's like, what?
I disagree with that. I don't think they mind. I think they knew he would be on another team. They waited for the commissioner's list to put him suspended, so he's not instantly on another football team.
Right,
he was suspended all the rest of last year. He's going to be suspended for 6 games or 8 games this year?
8 games.
8 games this year. So he's not instantly on a team.
Right, but he was instantly decided that he was on a team. A team immediately said, what the heck? I mean, pretty much said, what the heck, we'll sign.
And I think they knew that was coming.
I think they were probably a little surprised that it was like...
I don't.
So quick.
So quick, but they knew he was going to play for another team. They knew he was going to be suspended. They knew all that. So whether it happened a week or a month earlier, they knew he wasn't going to play the rest of the year. And yes, do they think it's a bad PR move to go grab him right away like the Browns did? Yeah, probably. But oh my God, all our plans have collapsed. He's now on the Browns. Well, we've got to start over. Trade Mahomes. No.
I think what they saw with their own eyes, however, also is that they just kept on humming along offensively after he was gone.
Well, yeah, and I think, listen, this is the part. Why is no attention paid to, quote, he categorically denies he has ever punched his son in the chest or anywhere on his body or otherwise touched him in the chest in a mean-spirited manner or as a form of discipline. Okay, that's from his attorney, right? This came out, this got about an hour's conversation, and then everybody went back to the narrative of Hill did it, when are they going to cut him, and when are they going to get his ass off the team? And this poor woman.
But he did basically admit he uses corporal punishment.
Yes, he absolutely did.
And to me, when you're talking about a 3-year-old, if you're touching them in any fashion, you can say, I didn't do it in an abusive way.
But again, you're going off on your narrative.
Right.
Right. You're not addressing what is said in this letter. Nobody wants to talk about. Listen, I don't like it again. I feel like I got to keep coming back. He wouldn't have been on my team. I wouldn't have drafted him. I would have cut him. But now we're here and they haven't. So let's honestly analyze and break it down. To me, everything stops with this is what I would have done. And now everything else that comes after because somebody is doing something different is all wrong. All right. It's a different opinion and it's a different process. I don't like the process, frankly, but I do feel compelled to accurately portray what's going on. there is a statement that says, and the attorney continues, he also denies that he has ever grabbed his son's arms and pulled them aside to strike him. There have been occasions when Tyreek has tapped his son gently on the chest with his fingers while his son was crying and said, "Man up, buddy," or "Don't cry, my man." He has said that in a calm voice, trying to redirect him. There are all kinds of things, says, in this that got read that day and then never get mentioned again. I never hear this get brought up.
Because it's a lawyer saying it.
Well, of course it is. Yes, it's his lawyer. And one day he's going to have to, if he's going to play in this town or any town, he's going to stand in front of a microphone and he's going to have to say something. But Crystal Espinal is not saying anything.
Right. And I'm not
Channel
saying,
5 is doing all the talking
and I'm
for
not
her.
saying that she's innocent of this particular crime.
That's my point. And so at the end of the day, you have through his attorney, he is saying, I did not do this. What we have is a child who has been, according to the district attorney, abused, has been taken from the home, and a district attorney that says, I don't know who did it.
Right.
Now, for us, that's enough. He's gone.
Right.
The Chiefs say, until we know he did it, I don't like their moral code, but there is a code there still. I think if there is a video that comes out, the security cameras, that has him, and we see him wailing away on the kid, he will be cut. If there is somebody who comes forward and says, Tyreek Hill, that's not in the middle of it, a witness, an outside unbiased witness.
And obviously they don't have
Tyreek Hill wailed away on this kid. He will be cut. I think that will happen. I can't guarantee it, but I think that's where their mindset is. What I've been able to piece together is that's where their mindset is. It's not my moral code. My code is just even the thought, you are on zero tolerance. You're past it. But if he's not zero tolerance with them, and what they're waiting on is conclusive proof that he actually abused his child, that's not the act of murderers or insanities or without logic or reason. I may not agree with it, but there is a logic and a reason to it.
Right, and I think it's born out of the fact that they are desperately hoping that...
Of course it is, like we all are.
Right, but there's already enough there for tangibly, absolutely enough for me to have long since cut him.
Right.
That an atmosphere was created
we've seen,
that
that's
endangered...
us, though.
Right, and the Chiefs... It didn't rise to that level for them, and I think that's wrong.
And I would tend to agree, yes.
And I see, I see their reasoning, because in the end, if he isn't convicted of any crime or isn't even charged with the crime, and the case is dropped, they have a leg to stand on. It's a,
sucks.
It's
wobbly,
a cancer-riddled, half-amputated leg to stand on, but that they have a leg to stand on, and many of their fans will stand right behind them.
Yes.
And I think that's a shame.
I
think it's a real shame. I don't even think it's like a
I do too.
Small, little bitty shame.
No,
I think it's going to be embarrassing to me that he's out there playing football for the Chiefs.
And I guess my point is simply that we all have, it's like the unwritten rules of baseball. You can't steal when you're up. How many? Is it 2? Right. Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? When do I have the right to put one in your backside
and
because you stole a base on me?
How many?
And everybody's line is different.
Sure. How many guys have? And the other part and we're so late, but the other part is that these franchises, every draft, every transaction, the character. I mean, shut up. Just shut up. Hey, we're fielding a football team. I don't care if it's the longest yard.
You got that from Mike
out.
Mayock. But the problem, Mike Mayock, when they signed Richie Incognito, they can't all be Boy Scouts. Well, then that's fine. But then when you reach on guys at the first round, don't say these are foundation builders. Like, you don't get it both ways.
Mm-hmm. Right, and also they say they all can't be choir boys. We got plenty of choir boys.
Yeah.
But we can't make a whole choir.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break, wrap up with Danny next here in the program.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker of Easton Roofing. And Joe, oftentimes people will wait to replace their roof until there is a weather event. What should they know about that?
Well, Danny, the important thing to remember is if you're going to turn in a claim to your insurance company, you want to make sure that you actually have damage on your home. If you turn in a claim to your insurance company and they send an insurance adjuster out, it's going to be a claim